When I first started hunting, I was not about buying expensive gear. But as I became a guide and I hunted more and more and more, comfort became important for me because I was in the field a lot. So what is it that you're really getting when you spend a lot of money, let's say on a backpack? Today we're comparing a $50 backpack to a $500 backpack. Let's get into it. The first pack we're going to be talking about today is this one. This is a Rustic Ridge. It's just the everyday pack. I picked it up for 50 bucks. If you're a whitetail hunter, this would probably be everything that you would need just to go out and sit in the woods in your stand or whatever. This is what I usually use for guiding though, or something similar to it. This is the Mystery Ranch Beartooth. It's one of their newest backpacks and it is a really, really nice pack. It has a lot of awesome features. I've used it for just single day trips as well as multi-day packing trips for hunting. But let's get into why this one's 50 bucks and why this one's 500 other than size.
Oh hey, the weather outside is frightful, but I feel quite delightful in my beautiful elk skin rug that I shot last year. No, but in all seriousness, I'm doing a guided elk hunting course next fall where you get an elk tag in your pocket. I'll teach you all the tips and tricks I know about elk hunting. Check out my website at processbasethunter.com and you can find more.
Bear pack without anything in this pack right here weighs 2.8 pounds. And now that doesn't seem like a whole lot of weight, but for what it is, it's only about 1,800 cubic inches, which is not a whole lot, especially if you're gonna be out there for an entire day or if you're planning on packing any kind of meat out. And this pack right here is almost 5,200 cubic inches. So it really extends out. You can put a lot of gear on this thing, but it's not really a fair comparison to just say this one's smaller, this one's bigger. We need to kind of just compare apples to apples here. If you were to take this pack right here and blow it up to be the same size, 5,200 cubic inches, it would weigh roughly 6.5 pounds. Now this one, as is, just bare pack with nothing in it, weighs about 6.7 pounds. So they're really pretty similar if you were to make this one just as big. What you're really gonna be looking for is not necessarily the weight savings with these packs, it's the features and comfort that are gonna be coming with the upgrade from this one versus this one with the same amount of weight. The first features with this pack that you're gonna see, like many other packs, is that it has somewhere to hold water or something similar, maybe a phone. And then you're also going to have several compartments for organization, and then a main compartment here. You could maybe put a little bit of meat in there or coats, whatever you might need there. There's also a lashing point right here so that you can open this up, put something there, and actually lash it down to the side of the pack, and maybe a tripod, maybe a spotting scope, something like that. So it's actually a pretty well thought out pack, but it's not one that I would recommend using, especially because you don't have any kind of lumbar support right here. And it's just really not going to be that comfortable. Your back's going to get all sweaty. Your back might start hurting after you hike 5 or 6 miles. And you may not be able to carry enough gear, especially if you're going to stay overnight somewhere. We're going to start with the same features on this pack. It also has water holders right here. I've also used these to put my spotting scope, walking sticks, things like that in there because I can then lash them to the sides with those lashing. That's kind of where things start changing, is there's actually not as many pouches on this, but it's a little bit more thought out towards somebody that's going to be Western hunting. My favorite feature about this entire pack is that you can take the top fanny pack. My favorite feature about this pack is that I can take the lid off of it right here, and I can actually transfer this into its own backpack, which is great. I carry water, knives, maybe a game bag in here. That way, if I'm gonna drop into a really big, nasty canyon, I can just take exactly what I need, get the elk killed, do whatever I need to do. And if I don't kill the elk, then I'm not having to hike, 60, 70 pounds of gear all the way to the top. I can just hike this right back to the top and we're good to go. This pack, unlike the other one, and many hunting packs are like this now, not all. This one is just a draw bag, so you can just sack everything in there. It has side access points so that you can just open those up and access what's inside. It also has specific pockets for a spotting scope and a tripod, which I really like because I've broken my fair share of spotting scopes as I've been hiking around the woods. It's never a good feeling. Now, the other thing that I like is that it has this pocket down here. Now, if I'm just going on a day trip, I can have, my first aid kit down here where it's easily accessible. But if I'm going on a multi-day trip, I fit my sleeping bag right there. And after I get my sleeping bag in here, I can actually attach my tent or maybe my bedroll or anything like that to the bottom here. Mystery Ranch in specific actually has these cool little D-loop attachments that you can put on to this molly right here, and you can actually add more. I went into the Frank Church Wilderness this last year, and I used that feature a lot. I attached a dry bag to it with a lot of extra gear, things that I wanted to keep dry because it did snow on us, and it was a really, really nice thing to have. And that's actually what made it so that I could carry more than I could comfortably carry. I had about 100 pounds of gear on my back when we were in the Frank Church. The biggest thing that I can tell you that would be different between a more expensive pack and some of the features that you're getting is the frame. If you're gonna go hiking into the backcountry, you need a pack with a frame. This frame here is going to help your back have so much support, and it's gonna take a lot of pain away over the long term. Another feature that a lot of more expensive packs are going to have is this lumbar support right here. This really helps it so that your back doesn't get sore with heavy weights, extended miles of walking. It also has adjustable straps so that you can make sure that this pack fits your body size perfectly. Most higher end backpacks are going to have that same feature. The last two things that I'm going to talk about that you're going to be looking for in a high end backpack is durability of material. Everything that you see in the woods wants to destroy all of your gear. And this is really good. It's almost like a canvas. Most other companies are going to have something similar to this. Just find something with durable material. And the last thing that I wanted to show is the meat hauler feature. This frame actually detaches from the pack itself, and I can then put meat in between the frame and the pack right here when I loosen these straps. I packed out an elk, a deer, a moose, and a couple other animals with this pack this year. And yeah, it was heavy, but it was sure nice to have that feature because I didn't have to leave all my gear in the woods. I just separated my pack from the frame, put the meat between the pack and the frame, and walked out. That's a pretty standard feature, and it's becoming more and more standard among higher end backpacks. So that's another thing that you're going to be paying for with a $500 backpack or something similar to it. What I would tell you is that if you're just going to go out into the whitetail woods and sit in your tree stand, or if you're western hunting and you're not going to be in the woods all that long, maybe you're going to go a couple of days spread out over a season, this is a good pack. Like, it'll get you through and get you by what you need to do. It may not be as comfortable, it may not be as easy to get the meat out, but you can make it happen with this. This pack right here is probably a necessity if you're gonna go out hunting for a week at a time. For that endurance factor of hunting, it's really, really important to not get in too much pain. And this pack might make it a lot harder on you. Once you kill an animal, you might have to make several trips, versus this one, you may be able to get it out in one trip. And you're probably already going to be exhausted from 4 or 5 days of hunting when you kill an animal and you have to get it out. So if you're going to go and you're really serious about getting into multi-day trips, maybe not necessarily even hiking in for multiple days, but just hunting for multiple days at a time and hiking a good amount of mileage, this is a pack that I'd recommend. As always, get out there, have fun, and eat lots of Twinkies.